What is going on, everybody? It's Jay, aka It's Sick Story, back with another Phantom Parade ramble video. I already recorded like a half-hour ramble on this topic beforehand, but it was borderline so incoherent, even though I was 100% healthy when I made the video. I'd rather record it while sick again and have it be at least somewhat coherent instead of releasing actual certified slop. So, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. Impending doom is approaching for Phantom Parade players. The tiny mind cannot comprehend the idea of a third damage cut being introduced into the game. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, recently during Extreme Mission 20, I believe, that was added to JP recently, they added a new damage cut type, which basically cuts physical and taijutsu, and the main form of DPS in the game will be, well, not in the game, but like in that fight in specific, is mixed damage. Now, people are panicking over that notion, and as time goes on, I sit, and at first I was kind of panicking alongside with them, but in my head, but giving myself more time to think and more time to breathe, it might not be that bad, okay? It might not be that bad. Dude, because at first I was like, there's not that many units in the game in specific to operate under that specific criteria, but there is a fair bit. The only issue is if this ruling comes to Illusory Tower through floors 91 through 100, that's where things get a little bit scary, okay? Because for the most part, right, let's take red for example. You think of prominent red mixed options, like, and I mean like pure mix, not like red Yuta where it's like, okay, he does a physical attack on one, then, you know, a cursed technique one afterwards, you know, flipping back and forth between Jujutsu and Taijutsu. You think of red Mahito, you think of red T Nanami, right? Which is a pretty small number. You know, it's only 2 characters I can think of off the top of my head, both of them being limited. Not a very, very good thing. Now, there's other characters in red that have skills that are mixed, right? But they aren't exactly mixed characters. They aren't doing Jujutsu and Taijutsu on each attack, right? But let's think about blue, for example. When I think about blue, off the top of my head, in terms of pure mixed damage, I can only think of Naobito, right? That immediately becomes a tad bit of an issue, right? Because I'm scrolling through, and I'm talking about like pure mixed characters, right? Like not one skill is Jujutsu, and then like they have another skill that's just Taijutsu. Like no, like their whole kit is built around running fades the entire time of mixed damage. Oh, and blue Nanami, right? Very, very short sample size. Then we go to green. We have 2 green Nanamis. So that's mixed damage right there. That is mixed damage right there. However, there's no same name update. You got to choose one or the other. And that's if you pull for the new Nanami in question. We also have Saki. But Saki isn't exactly like a main DPS role style of character. Saki is like mainly a tank or focus me type of character. Which leads to some very interesting situations. Because again, we're not including units who have like, you know, one skill is Taijutsu, the other skill is Jujutsu. We're looking for the purest here at the moment. We went through red, now we're on yellow, right? Now, yellow, I'm looking at it again. We're looking for the purest of pure because, yeah, you know, yellow Tinjo, he can have a mixed skill 1, but that doesn't matter. He's not a full mixed unit. So for mixed units, we got yellow Mekamaru, we have the GOAT, yellow Nanami, yellow Yuta, but he's not on global at the moment, but he's a part of the list, yellow Yuta. And from the looks of it, yeah, chat, I mean, technically speaking, you could possibly count maybe yellow Kaido to a certain extent, to a very, very certain extent. But the list of characters are really small, which is why, okay, at first, I'm not scared of the idea of the change on a surface level. Like, if there was, like, a mission every once in a while added to the game that involved this concept, because this isn't a new thing for us global players. In fact, if you play the SP battles for each Imaginary Realm event, I'm pretty sure since the second rerun of the Zombie Toji event, they have had the mixed damage cut as an option already. People preferably pick that so they can kind of just unrelentingly use Taijutsu or Jujutsu Purist to do their really quick clears. So this isn't exactly new to us. The only major concern is that if Tower is going to embody this style of update, because yeah, the EX mission, it is pretty difficult from like a surface level analysis, but like as I'm recording this video currently, people have cleared that mission with Yellow Nanami, and oh, I can't believe I forgot about Yellow Yaga as well in terms of being a mixed damage fighter. But Yellow has options going for them for the mixed category. They have Yaga, they got T Nanami, they have not T Nanami, Yellow Nanami. Your boy is tired and sick. Yellow Nanami and Yellow Mechamaru. The only problem is when you try to go to different colors, because the other colors just don't have the same level of like viability as it currently stands in terms of just, okay, you could throw them like a super duper difficult fight and they would be able to rely on insert unit as their main DPS and it wouldn't be an absolute slog fest. I mean, the duo of Red Mahito and Red T Nanami, it could work out just fine. I mean, I have cleared floor 86 with that exact like main DPS duo on stream, and even then, right, it wouldn't be preferred to do it, but it is possible. Now, do I believe that they've been teasing at this idea for a while? Of course, because you guys have seen the spree of mixed units releasing coming out. You've seen units that are quite literally breaking the rules of Tower being released, like example, Red Momo, Yellow Urame. Like, you're seeing units that could bypass rules. I can imagine this new little iteration of difficulty is going to be something that we're probably going to see in the next Tower update, most likely. And here's what I expect. I expect SPs. Okay. SPs will be like the main way to kind of ease the blow. Yellow Nanami could get his SP, right? I know there's some people that want Yellow Yaga to get his SP, but to a certain extent, I still feel like Yellow Yaga is a little bit cracked. I don't think he needs an SP as it currently stands, but Yellow Nanami for sure can get an SP to further on some content. Even Blue, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna have like Rise of the Planet of the Nanamis that as it currently stands, because there is, as much as you can use specific units to clear content, it just so happens that a lot of the specific units in question happen to start their name with the letter N, ends with Min, you know, Nanamin, chillin'. Everybody's gonna have to be using a Nanami for every color factor. So as I'm currently like speaking to myself, the problem kind of gets worse and worse and worse. Because the only answer is SPs, which most of the SPs I can think of off a surface level on the top of my head as I'm like recording this is mostly just Nanami units. And again, Red Nanami isn't exactly a DPS, but we do have Red Mahito, so that works just fine. But Yellow Nanami and Blue Nanami for sure could be SP candidates for this new upcoming meta. However, we also have to take into consideration that we don't know what floors 91 through 100 will even look like in the first place. Because they could add that rule condition and it could just be one floor, right? Or worst case scenario, it could be 3 floors, maybe 4, right? But I feel like since they're kind of testing the waters with it, I feel a very low likelihood that there's going to be a lot of them. Because there's not a lot of units in question to really experiment with on there. But at the same time, with all the releases that are coming out, it makes you want to believe like, oh man, they're really trying to ready us up for that next huge wave of content. By huge, 91 through 100, which isn't really going to be huge. It's going to be huge for the time sink we have to, you know, settle into in order to clear the content. But we all know once we clear all the tower stages, we're going to be sitting here for like another 4 or 5 months doing nothing, a whole bunch of nothing. But the only thing I'd be able to think of I would say mentally prepare for more illusory tower stages to have that cut, if and only if, to a certain extent, like we go to that half anniversary celebration on JP and there's like one mixed fighter. If there's one mixed fighter that's like a main DPS, oh yeah, you better expect it. You better expect it coming. Because all it would do would just give me nostalgia going back to like when Blue Yuta released. And then like, you know, you clear floor 80, the first floor on 81. I mean, it's very clearly designed with the idea of like, oh man, you should have pulled Blue Yuta if you're pulling up on this boss. Or like, for example, when the first anniversary on JP happened and it was, you know, Yuji and Gojo. And there was all these stages where you could just kind of just Gojo spam Infinite Void and just clear through it with no diff. A lot of people agree with me onto the sentiment that new tower stages are built around the units that are releasing beforehand, mainly the big celebration units that are around, right? Like, even if we're thinking about, for example, Hydro or Green Shoko. I mean, it's very obvious that on the green stages, right, you're meant to use those units. I mean, floor 77, where it's like big bird boss, 2 punching minions. You can counter it with Gojo. You can AoE spam with his transformed blue state, right? And again, really take into consideration, think to yourself, do we really believe that the next state in Tower is going to be a lot of mixed fights? I don't believe it'll be the case. I really don't believe it'll be the case. Because again, the last time we had a Tower update, 81 through 90, the last unit they released was Blue Yuta. Okay? And that was like, oh yeah, if you didn't pull Blue Yuta, congratulations, you're now going to get like body slammed on floor 81 mercilessly, right? Or for example, when people were stuck on floor 86 and then Mahito appeared, and then Mahito, you know, turned that floor into chump change, right? Or for example, floor 82, Toto turned that stage into a non-factor. You know, floor 83, you know, you didn't need Max G to clear, but Max G sure makes it significantly easier to live through it. Same if you go even further backwards. You go back in time, you know? You could do that Hydro Shoko, you know? Floor 77. Him having that little, again, Honored One Awakened state definitely helps, for sure. He was able to spam blue as an AoE to hit multiple enemies on the board. You know what I'm saying? He has the counter status, the whole 9 yard, right? Anything was really possible. I mean, even on just not floors specific to that. I mean, because he was basically able to make himself invincible, like 24/7. You just spammed red to your heart's content on like any color floor for hours, and you could clear with him in specific, right? Then you go even before that, you know, you go to the 60s margin, where you had the previous anniversary characters. You just have to pay attention to the trends. That's really it. If you're really concerned about, oh my goodness, is the mixed meta really going to take over the world? Just pay attention to the trends. There is always a trend that occurs in this game before like major content hits and everybody's panicking. Okay? Mixed units are good. They low-key have always been pretty good, right? To a certain extent. Unless they had like a very blatant replacement. But as it currently stands, does this lead me to push Yuta potentially as like a higher, maybe must summon regard? Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, because again, if you've had a conversation with me about this topic in my Discord or even on stream, the phrase or like the term or whatever we would like to call it, again, sick, tired, we're just flowing off the flow state. The term must summon low-key kind of means nothing in this game, because everybody can kind of clear with almost any amalgamation of any characters that they would like, depending on how dedicated they are. the community will just prove that to you all in all, right? No matter how like trash a unit is, somebody will figure something out with enough dedication. So for the people, for example, because there is a lot of people that are playing Phantom Parade currently and they missed the entirety of the anniversary season, which is tragic, by the way, 100% tragic. A lot of people are looking towards Yellow Yuta as like their saving grace for not having Zonji or not having Sukuna. And I wouldn't even blame you. I wouldn't even blame you. Because if the next content like shift is aiming towards mixed damage, I mean, Yuta is not a bad unit by any means. And if you're also like one of those newer players, like, oh man, I'm stuck on a yellow Taijutsu stage or I'm stuck on a yellow Jujutsu stage, well, you can use them for both. And then when those stages that where you could only use mixed fighters, well, guess what? He's there. He's kind of like a three for three. So from the looks of it, my final tired, sick ramble conclusion is that if they are leaning towards this mixed damage meta, mixed units value, the stocks will skyrocket. Because then you will have units that work in all three variables of content. Because even units that have lower damage scaling towards one specific type can still work really well. Like, for example, Naobito. He has lower physical scaling on his attacks than Jujutsu scaling, but you could still use him as a primary DPS to clear floor 89, right? That's fine. The same way how he has higher Jujutsu scaling, you could also use him as a prevalent enough DPS to clear floor 81 and 85, because, well, 85 doesn't have a specific hard cut, right, for one or the other. It's like a general cut. So from the looks of it, if we're really leaning towards that mixed damage meta, the mixed unit stocks are going to skyrocket. Because then you'll just have units that work on every single type of content until, like, again, just like how they have it in the imaginary realm, where they have mixed unit damage cut. Because the same way how they can cut Jujutsu, Taijutsu, right? They could also cut mixed. That's already an option inside of the game. So even if they could work for 3, actually, I wouldn't even say 3 for 3, 3 out of 4, because if there's going to be cuts to Jujutsu and Taijutsu that forces you to use mixed fighters, for sure, another difficulty aspect, which will be cut on mixed fighters, will also exist. So there's 4 difficulties that are included in mind with this new one stepping up. So now instead of just having Jujutsu and Taijutsu, it's now Jujutsu cut, Taijutsu cut, mixed cut, and then Jujutsu and Taijutsu cut. So it's a lot of layers, a lot of variables, which I wouldn't have an issue with as I keep, again, you got to keep a flow when you're making these arguments. It's kind of like I'm combating myself. Like, I make a point, combat the point, try to find something that would make sense to me. And all I could really think to myself as a real final conclusion, there's not enough characters in the game to be doing this early. There's just not enough. There ain't that, like, okay, especially for newer players trying to, like, you know, go to the latest game content. There's not enough. We don't got enough characters for all of this, all this variety that we want to include. Like, this feels like, this will feel like proper to, I guess, put into the game full scale, maybe on like a 3rd anniversary or a 3.5, not like earlier than 2.5 or on 2.5. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm like rambling. My head is like on fire. And I got work. So let me know in the comments down below, because by the time this video gets uploaded, I will be asleep anyway. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys doom and gloom over the mixed damage meta? Are you excited? Do you think it's just a little bit annoying? Do you think we just don't have enough units to really perform a meta like this? Just shoot off in the comment section down below. Smack a like down below. Subscribe maybe if you enjoy hearing me talk about Phantom Parade. Yeah, okay. Like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord in the channel bio. It's been Jay, aka It's Lightheaded Story. And I will see you guys later.